What's up, guys? I'm Brian with Knox Company, and I'm going to install a new head unit in this 5th generation 4Runner. These head units are from Dasaita. They are a 10-inch head unit, touchscreen. It has a CarPlay. It's a huge upgrade for these vehicles, especially if you didn't get your 4Runner from the factory with all those extras. You can add cameras, you can expand the stereo, you can do all that with this new head unit. But the reason we're doing it is because it's a nice upgrade. It will bring it up to date and it gives it a very big screen. And really another reason that I wanted to go with this head unit was because we have looked at upgrading before. Everything was very aftermarket and there was a lot of brackets and conversion kits that you needed. This is one of the best ones that I found with the best reviews of factory looking plug and play, and from what I can see already, it looks like it's going to drop right in and it's a very easy installation. So I'm going to start with showing you how to remove your original head unit. It's pretty easy steps, and then unplugging everything, and then you have to transfer some parts over to the new one. And again, those are pretty easy, but that was probably the most time consuming part, was removing the old pieces from the original unit to the new unit so that it will pop right in. It literally plugs right in and you start the car up and it works. So one of the first things you want to do is pull off the two side panels on your head unit. These here on the side of the dash just pop straight out. They just have these little brackets that hold them in. I like to grab them from the side and pull them straight out towards you. Then you're going to have your section right there with the dials for the air. You're going to pull those out. It pulls straight out again, and then there is a little plug there on the back that you can disconnect that so you can actually get some more room to work with. Then you're going to see that there's 4 screws that you'll reveal that hold the head unit in. These 4 screws are a 10 millimeter, pretty easy, just 4 of them. You pop them right out. Then again, the head unit pops out with the same type of brackets. I pull from the bottom slightly, and then I pull from the top. Again, everything try to pull straight out towards you, not too much up or down, but straight out. Once you have that out and everything unplugged, you can set these 2 units next to each other and see the pieces that need to be switched over. So now we can set the 2 units next to each other and really get a look at how much of a difference it's going to be. It's going to really update your interior, make it a lot newer. Nowadays, most vehicles have those big touch screens. So that's one of the reasons that we wanted to do this. But there are some pieces that we do need to switch over. Mainly the air vents, the brackets or the adapters that allow the air to travel through the new vents, because this unit is a OEM like factory look, but they've kind of moved some of the dials to give you a larger screen surface. So with that, you have to bring over some of the old pieces, and that will help it adapt and connect right to the original dash. The outside bezel area is seamless, but it's just a couple of those pieces on the back, the brackets, that help kind of hold it together. And those 4 bolts that you remove, those are 2 side brackets on the original head unit. You're going to just pull those out. They're a Phillips head, and you put those on the new head unit. And that's probably the biggest part that actually holds it in there when you actually bolt in the new unit. Everything else is pretty simple, and I'll walk you guys through it. I'll point out some things that I found that were helpful, because you do not want to break these. There are some plastic tabs. Maybe you plan on selling your original unit, so if you want to keep everything working on both sides, take your time, and I'll show you some places to pay attention to. So we'll start with these yellow clips. One thing I saw that was easy to do is get your finger underneath one edge, because they bend on both sides, and then come up with a screwdriver and actually pull up on the other one. So you're going to pick up on one side and then get the screwdriver on the other, and both sides at the same time. Something I found really helpful was, as I pulled off one piece, I would put it right back onto the new one. That way I didn't get any of them mixed up, and I knew exactly where everything went. So I just mirrored removal and replacement. So something to note when removing these vents, they're just held in by clips. You do have to remove these two little screws which hold on the faceplate to the dial. So it's two tiny screws, Phillips head. So you remove these two screws. Two very little screws, and they hold on this little faceplate. And then when taking this vent off, I use a flathead, and there's these little tabs, you just push them out. There's one right here in the bottom, and there's one right here at the top. So you can see, just put some pressure on it, pulling back. You can see it start to kind of give, pops out. Then you can go to the other side, and there's two little tabs that are on the far corners again. They're very hard to see, but you just hit them with a little flathead screwdriver, and they pop right out. They grab onto these little corners. They're on the outmost corners of both of these. So that was probably the hardest part, is trying not to break that. But when you go to put these back in, because they're clips, you line it up. There's these little tabs right here, four corners. You line it up and you can just push it in. Pops right into place. So you see we have our OEM look going. Everything so far is fitting perfectly. All the vent covers are fitting. So now we can throw this vent cover, this little dial cover back on, put the screws from the back, and we're almost done. And just in case you're wondering, this little ball right here, this is a ram mount that I just switched over from my original head unit. So I have a video on my channel where I put this on here so that while it's in the vehicle, I could actually have a ram mount instead of doing it up here on the top. So I just switched this over to the new head unit, just in case you're wondering what that is. So here's a little close-up of everything that will be switched over. We're going to pull 4 of these clips. You're going to transfer 2 of these. You're going to transfer the brackets, leaving that piece on the original unit out of here because that's part of the stereo. This is all now obviously updated a little bit more compact. This right here goes to your hazard light. That has to be pulled out. The plug has to be pulled out, and then you just push the plug out from the front. This can be left on the bracket because it's attached. So I just pulled the bracket off with it. The 2 vents, remembering to do these 2 little screws first so that we can remove this plate right here. Then you got the 4 tabs on either corner. These pop out. And then the last piece is this plastic shroud right here on top. 2 screws, 1 either side, and then it clicks right in. Every single piece that I had to switch over went perfectly onto the new unit. So that was awesome. So far there's been nothing that has not fit. Everything lined up perfectly. And now we're going to do the wiring harness. We'll see how complicated that is. But again, everything should be plug and play. Once we plug everything in here, it should go right into the vehicle, and we pop this back in. 4 bolts, we can turn it on. So there's 2 main wiring harnesses. This one will have a lot of the adapters that goes to all the ones in your vehicle. There's 1 main plug that goes into the new head unit. There is a cable that goes over here to the antenna. This is for your radio. So this has an adapter. A lot of these will go, again, into your vehicle. And then this plugs in over here, and this gives you all the options that if you have like an upgraded stereo system, you can have an additional microphone. We have different plugs to go to the subwoofer. And another really cool thing is that they give you a plug where you can use USB drives, HDMIs. They have a couple different options here. So this actually really expands the ability of the screen because it's not just a head unit. It's going to be a TV slash multimedia unit. So it's really cool. They give you all these accessories to plug in. I am going off of the diagram that they give me. So I'm going to make sure that we plug in this one first and we can see how it plugs over. And then all these other ones that I just took out, they're over here, and they kind of show you that if you have that upgraded sound system and what everything does. Once you have everything all connected, you have the adapters that you want to use, because if you have an aftermarket stereo, it allows you the ability to expand and connect to amplifiers, subwoofers, and you can use it if you want to plug in your computer, and you can really use the screen as an extended TV screen. We're going to go with more of the factory connection. We already have a backup camera. We already have a lot of those features, but it allows you to add the microphone. It allows you to add another screen. It allows you to plug in a device that you want to play through it. So if you have a game system, you can connect those things through different ports, USB, HDMI, etc. It's nice that it has all that. We're not going to be using it for all of those things. We're just really going to use it again to update the interior, have a nice screen, see what the sound system sounds like, just get that new updated look. Right, now the moment of truth. Just turn the ignition on. AC's working. Very cool. So this thing worked right off the bat. Super clean screen, really cool looking. It's nice to see that after your first try, it just connects and it works well. This again is one of the reasons we went with them, is because they are a true plug and play. You literally plug it in and everything starts working. The setup for the phones, I didn't even have to really read the instructions, but you can click through it, set it to the Wi-Fi that you might have at your house. You can set it to your Bluetooth and connect your phone. If you don't have Apple, obviously it works with Android. So the thing is, it's really adaptable, but we have the Apple phones. So the Apple CarPlay was really easy to start working with because we did not have that originally in this. We had the Bluetooth connection, but we did not have the Apple CarPlay. So that is a really cool thing that this now has. My newer vehicles have it. Now this one does too. I will say that I think the sound system is a lot better. We don't have any upgraded speakers, but this head unit might be driving those speakers a little bit better. It just seemed like it had a lot crisper, fuller. The bass was already kind of like bumping a little bit more. So that was pretty cool because it had a song that started playing right on the head unit. It must have some type of song or two loaded in it, but it started playing and right away you're like, okay, this thing sounds pretty cool. So I do like that. After using it for a little bit and playing some other music, I would say that in my opinion, it does sound a lot better than the original head unit. But the main thing that we're looking at is, how does that screen work? I like that there is no lag. As you're dragging your finger across the screen, everything moves smoothly. When you tap on it, it's kind of like that instant satisfaction. You hear the beep, it goes right to the next screen. The GPS is really nice. And again, because this is a Android multi-platform type of head unit, you can search the internet, you can turn on YouTube, you can download different backgrounds. It's very easy to customize. So I like that. Even just going from the light and dark mode, you can set it to automatic. I think overall, it's kind of like having a computer. You can make it do whatever you want. You can kind of change the backgrounds. You can add different apps. You can run different things through it. You can use it for a lot of things, or you can use it for a little bit. We really just use it for driving the vehicle, updating the look, new stereo system, and now we have the CarPlay working. So those are all the big pluses. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments there for me. I know I tried to show you guys as much as I could with like the brackets and different things. Those are the areas that I found were more difficult, was just trying to remove those brackets and put them on there without breaking anything. So take your time with those. But again, if you have questions, leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you guys on them. I'm really good at answering the comments. And again, thank you guys for watching. If you want to support my channel, hit like, hit subscribe. I do have links for this in the description. So if you are looking for one of these head units, you can click on that link and it'll take you right to it. So once again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next build.